Hello guys, welcome again to Street Yarnz Podcast. Today we'll be talking to an elder statesman, and he's going to be sharing some of his experiences with us. For young people, it's important for us to rely on the wisdom of the elders to be able to guide us in our choices. And today we will be talking about somebody who is not just an elder statesman, is a respectable person in the community, is someone that has spent his entire life in the service of the people, the service of his community, service of everyone around him. And today he's going to be sharing some of his experiences with us. So join me as I welcome to the podcast today, Elder Famakinwa.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today, sir.
Yes.
We appreciate the fact that you give us the opportunity to come into your home and ask you questions. We know that you have a busy schedule, and we are really grateful for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sir, one of the things that I've always thought about as a young person is when I see people that are much older, you think that they were never young. They were just born old. But I'm very sure that that's a wrong notion, obviously. So how was your childhood, sir? What were your experiences? How did you become the elder statesman that we know today?
Well, thank you for the interview.
Yes, sir.
I will start by telling you from that question you asked me that by 15th of October 2023, I will be 80 years old. Wow. So I'll be celebrating my 80th birthday on the land of the living. So therefore, you can see I've journeyed along. From my youth, I was born on the 15th of October 1943. You know, maybe two years before the Second World War ended. You know, and since then, I've journeyed through life. And I've experienced the ups and downs of life. And I've enjoyed the good part of life and the other part of life. And so I can tell you that nothing is rosy. You just have to work for everything you become in life. And that is why, as you have said, you have asked me my youth. Yes, my youthful age, I was born in Lagos here. Then I schooled in Lagos here, my primary school in Lagos here, before my father transferred to Ibadan for trading business. I finished my primary school in Ibadan. I went to modern school when Elder Famakinwa was Premier of Western Region, introduced modern school. I spent 3 years, and from there I went to secondary school. And I attended Ikeja Grammar School in Osun State now, you know. Then came back to Ibadan, spent a few years before I came back to Lagos in 1966. So I spent almost something years in Lagos, 61 years, you know, after my birth. I attended University of Lagos in 1966, and I graduated in economics, second class, in 1969, and that was during the Civil War, you know. So I graduated in Lagos, University of Lagos. I think we are about the fourth set of University of Lagos then, because University of Lagos was established in 1962, you know. So, and since then, I've been working all over in Lagos, you know. So, I spent 69 to date, it's about 54 years in Lagos. So, since then, and I've been working, and I've passed through the working experience stage, and I worked with Joas, who is handling Sony, you know, Sony Corporation of Japan. I was the general manager. And so I've traveled far and wide all over the world, Japan, name it, on business. So it's a wide experience I've gathered, you know, my working life and community life. So the experience, as I've said, is not rosy, but you have to make yourself, and you have to decide what you want in life, you see. And once you take the right step, and that is if you are focused, because there are so many temptations along the line, most of my friends and colleagues, they have gone because of one mistake or the other. That is part of life, And one thing I decided from my youthful age, that I don't drink, I don't smoke. Because those are the 13 vices of youth. If you indulge in smoking, drinking, clubbing, which I have opportunity to do. I mean, University of Lagos, for that matter, it's in the heart of Lagos, you see, so a lot of influences. That was when Fela started to reign, So, but once I control myself to make sure I don't fall into any of these vices, and it helped me a lot. So that I was focused. I was not ready to follow bad friends, and to go clubbing. I faced my studies because my parents are not too rich. So in Yoruba, they said, "Rántí ọmọ ẹni tí wọ́n ń ṣe." Always think of your family background. In anything you do, that is for the youths. Many of us, the youths, they don't know ọmọ ẹni tí wọ́n ń ṣe. You who knows that you come from a very poor background, but God created an opportunity for you. In anything you do in that opportunity, always think of your background. My parents they're at home, suffering because of me, to send me to this school. Why should I now get to that school and become wayward? So that is very, very important for the youths. Always think of your parental background in anything you do. So this has guided me immensely in anything I do. So when I started marrying, having children, I continue. I have a good job, well paid. Sony of Japan, well paid, and I traveled a lot. So when I became married, I married in 1972. My first wife, she's late now. And it was after her that I, married my young angel. And as you see her, I've married her for 25 years now. As you see her, she's been here with me 25 years. She was 24 when I married her. You can see she has spent half of her life here. So all those things guide me. So to behave, so that when you have children, you leave good example for your children. They'll be able to look at you, to know how to mold their own life too. You see? And these are some of the things that is going wrong with our youths. Parental care too is lacking. So that has been my journey up to date. I came to Ikeja here in 1973 to build my bungalow here then, and I've been here since then. Ikeja was forest. Only my house was here. But I stood ground. So I can talk authoritatively about the development of Ikeja from day one to today. Because everything happened in my presence. And I was a contributor to everything in Ikeja today. So that is why, from my experience, yes, you can learn. So that has been the journey so far.
Yes, sir. So you talked about benefiting from Awolowo's education policy. And one thing I know is A lot of people who are in politics today, a lot of our leaders and elderly people, they always make reference to Awolowo. Was there any time that you had any personal interaction with Awolowo?
Not really, but what I can say is that one of his children, Oluwale Awolowo, was my friend. We were together in Awolowo lived at Okeado. That was his residence. I live at Amunigun, very close. So we are friends. We are a group of about 10 of us that we are friends, So that's the only interaction.
Did he influence your choice of getting into politics in any way?
Yes, at that time, we are young, and Awolowo was the premier of Western region at that time. So, and we are always following him. And, Wale Awolowo, he's very close to us. So he always take us to Baba, and Baba will be saying, you boys, be very careful, just advising us. Yeah. So Awolowo's type of politics influenced so many people at that time. It influenced so many people because his policies are so programmatic in education, in social welfare, in many things. So that everybody looked onto Awolowo as an embodiment of progress, and good governance.
The standard to follow.
Yes.
I said the standard to follow.
Yes. And he's a mentor to many people.
Yes. Another thing that you mentioned is the fact that, for instance, in this area, you were one of the people or you were the first person, basically, to come into this community. What inspired that choice? What did you see in this community that made you feel like, this is where I want to be?
Yes. What happened was that I know about, at that time, that was in the 70s, let's say 73, 74. I was working at Joas, as I said, so just at Ilukweju, Ikorodu Road. And I live at Ilukweju, in one of the estates in Ilukweju, Pangrove Estate. That was where I live, and that's where we work. But my late wife is a friend to one of the family owners or landowners here. So it was that man that introduced this place to my wife, that I have land somewhere and we are looking for buyers. You have interest. So, woman, she took that initiative, I didn't know, and came here, saw it, and she bought it. She bought the 2 plots here. Then it was later she told me, and that's how I know about this area. And came to develop it in 75.
So, as one of the first people in the area,
settlers
in the area, you are also the secretary for the Council of Obas and the Ballets and Community. Yes. How did you come into that role?
Okay. What happened was that when Okera started to open up, and more people came in to build houses, and we tried to bring in all social amenities like light in 1977. I'm one of the pioneers of lighting, NEPA supply to Okera in 1977, and many things started to happen. Telephone, later bank. We have community banks here then, which IBM Babangida set up. Then later schools. We have secondary, junior, primary here in Okera. Then health centers. So that everything, the development started to roll in. Because Okera, we are lucky, more enlightened people came in to build houses here. So we were able to, muster together to develop Okera. Then when it got to that stage in 1993, we decided then CDA has been born, in Okera. CDA has been born. So it was this CDA that spearheaded the establishment of the traditional institution in Okera. Aguda, the other end there, Aguda, they have got their own ballet too, So we are here. We don't want to be submerged. So we too decided we must have our own ballet. So the CDA spearheaded that establishment. And we set up a committee, of which I was one, to find out how do we go about it. And we went about it, went to the government, went to everywhere. And in 1993, we were given a ballet. We selected one of us, who happens to be a landowner in this place, and Omoyeko, because he must be Omoyeko. Yes. So we selected the man to be our ballet, and he was installed. That's how we created Okera Balletship Institution, in 1992. So that's how we have a ballet. And once a community has a ballet, it means it's a distinct community with a head. So in 1993, ballet created some chiefs. You must have chiefs in council to work with him. To advise him. Unfortunately, I was one of the first set of chiefs. I'm the Bobajiro of Okera. See, so, and that title I hold till now. So as more communities are springing up and developing, they too are creating their own ballets. Traditional council, and they're all having ballets. That was in the old Ikeja. So when we have so many ballets around now they too came together and said, now that we are many, we must have a council where we shall be meeting to look after our welfare, to communicate with the government, and so on and so forth. So we established Ikeja Local Government Council of Ballets, for them. 5 ballets started it. And since that 1993, I have been the secretary to today. That's 30 good years now that we established the Ikeja Local Government Council of Ballets. And I've been the secretary of the council till today. Now we have more than so many ballets have come and gone. So the council has stayed. So that's how the traditional council of ballets came in. Traditional council came in.
Yes. Yeah, whenever there's an election, we always hear about senatorial seat election, presidential, governorship. But I have not ever heard any time they organize LCDA elections. Is it something that is within, is it based on a selection, or is there an election conducted for that purpose?
You mean for CDA?
CDA.
Okay. You see, as I told you, the CDA is a formation of the government. Yes. And the sole aim of creating CDA, they know government is up there, the grassroots is here. They need an intermediary institution to be the link between the government and the grassroots. And that is how the CDA came into being. CDA is a government creation, and unofficially it is tagged the 4th tier of government. Federal, state, local government, CDA. So that they are the nearest to the grassroots, and we have constitution. The CDA has its own, I have a constitution here. The CDA has constitution, like the Federal Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and so on. We have a constitution guiding the operations of the CDA, Community Development Associations. So that with that, we play active role, both politically and community-wise. And as you have asked, we have election all through. There's federal election, there's general election, there's state election, there's local government election. We have just done CDA elections. Okay. Because CDA has 2-year tenure. We have just been dissolved, and we have just, this last August, there were new elections all over Lagos State. CDA, all Lagos State had elections. So we have just been elected, into position. Yes, so we have elections too, like other elections, to select community people that will lead the affairs of the CDA.
Yes. I'm happy you talked about being the closest tier of government to the people. One of the things that we know that we talk about right now is the effects of the subsidy removal, the hardship that that the people are facing. And we know that, okay, we have a new president and he's trying to put in place some policies. But I also know that as much as we can want to be patient with government, a lot of people are feeling the effects. Being a leader in the community, what have you experienced in terms of when you talk to people, and how have you been able to help them cope with the situation right now?
Yes, it's a good question, and that's the current thing in Nigeria today. Subsidy removal palliatives. And this is where the local council comes in. And this is where the CDA comes in. And the directive has come from the federal government to all the state governments to take up the challenge that you people take steps to cushion the effect of this subsidy removal. And all state governors, maybe if you have been listening to news, have been taking various steps. And state governors too call the local council chairman, you too, in your own area, make sure you do something to alleviate, this subsidy removal, any form of palliatives you can to do. And this is where we let you know that our council, the LCDA council chairman, Honorable David Olusegun Odumbaku, unfortunately, is a young man like you, he's a young man. So he has youthful exuberances in him. He's doing a lot along that line. That is evolving actions that will reduce this suffering. And I will list, he has done 4 things right now, which is unique. 1, he has distributed food 2 times now to the generality of the people. 2, he did one thing. He went and brought foodstuffs and sold it 1,000. Like rice, about 10 kg. They have packed them. Beans, gari, crate of egg, 1,000. Everything 1,000.
Wow.
To the people. He did that in July. So many people bought, And 3, he has given palliatives to the widows and the handicapped, the physically challenged people. He has just distributed that. 4, he went ahead, he bought buses. Maybe if you have been in Okera, you have seen some 2 blue buses, painted blue. Maybe you will still see them, in the blue and logo of UDSC. He bought these Korokwe buses and gave them to CDA to operate in their various areas free of charge, carrying people and school children. Free.
To school.
Free. That is in operation right now. Maybe you may be lucky by the time you get to Aguda, you will see the buses. So these are the various steps he has taken at his own level to help in this regard. And he has more plans. There are a lot of other things he wants to do, and he's been given subvention, creating employments, for the youths especially. All these buses have been driven by youths, and he's paying them handsomely, 50,000 per month, which is far above the minimum minimum wage of 30,000. So all this is doing to create employment, to alleviate the suffering of the people, and to make sure at least people are a bit happy. So that
all
is.
Right. Sir, so one more thing I would like to ask you is, what advice would you give young people who want to go into politics today? Because I know there's been a lot of talk about involving young people in politics, and we know that it's about that time, so that young people don't continue to wait for that future till they now become old too, before they get the opportunity to participate in politics. From your own experience, what would you say is the first step, and what should the mindset be for young people?
Yes, it's good. Everybody knows that the youths are the future of any nation. And then leaders of tomorrow. Let's not doubt about that. From experience, yes, the youths have become, various fora. Give us chance. We want to do it, yes. And that's why INEC allowed them to form their own parties. I think there's a youth being YPP. That's why INEC approved, recognized their own party for them to be a platform for them to start. But what I will say, our youth have to be patient. Like I said it before, don't rush. If you want to become somebody in the future, you have to walk the footsteps of people that are in that position. So one, youth should decide leaders to follow. You pick your leader. You ask me about Awolowo. A lot of people at that time that stayed with Awolowo and went through his tutelage. They are what they are today. Look at that time, 58, 59, 60. So then we use the watchful. And then pick their leaders. When you pick a leader, you know what you have seen that leader. You want to emulate. Then join party, yes. Play your role in that party. You can't be a politician without being in a party. You can be a 50 party. That is your platform. As it must start from your community, which is world. So play your role in your world.
That's your constituency.
Yeah, that's your constituency. That's the first thing. Because some of our youth don't know this. They just jump there. I want to be like that. I want to. No. You start your politics from your world. Play your role. Be involved. Let people see you. They are doing this. They are there to help. They are doing this. Volunteering in your world, in your area. So from there you get noted. From there, I want to be, and then you start stage by stage. You don't say I want to do this. No. Councillor is your first thought of thought in politics. So you walk in your world, you are able to secure, like you are really interested in politics, the councillorship position. And from there, you start to go. That is how you develop. So it's stage by stage. So that is the advice. Yes, you should be involved, you should aim high. Yes, but please, look at feeling. Somebody tells you his political background, he has been coming far away. And some of our leaders here too, they have records behind them. So you too, that's what create that change.
Thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity to have this conversation with you. I'm sure everybody that is listening has been inspired by your story. What we all hope to be able to do in the future is grow old too, like you, and be able to have an impact in our community, be able to influence the generation. And you giving us this time to be able to talk to you, to be able to bring you on this platform. For us, it's a real big opportunity that you've given us, and it also shows your love for young people and your desire for us to grow. So we say thank you very much for it.
Thank you.
Thank you, viewers, for joining us today. I'm sure you've learned something or two from our daddy here, who has so much experience that he has shared with us. We hope that you like the video, share and subscribe to our channel. I remain your boy Adeboy. Till next time, bye.